she took her love for to gaze a while upon the fields of barley. In his arms she fell as her hair came down among the fields of gold. Will you stay with me? Will you be my love upon the fields of barley? We'll forget.
Hi everyone, my name is Abby McDougal. I am Jay's daughter, and today we're going to be starting his celebration of life with a musical, I think it's called Taps. After that, I will go ahead and let you guys know how the rest of the evening is going to be. Thank you all for showing up and for being here. thank you for the performing of the taps. I know my dad would have greatly appreciated it if he was here in the physical, and today he is here in his essence, in his love, in his all of knowledge, and I'm just so grateful that my dad was somebody who touched so many people, so many souls, and thank you all for being here and showing your support today. How the rest of the evening is going to go is me and my siblings, Logan, Lucy, and Lily. We're each going to get up here and say some words about my dad, some memories. I wrote a poem for him. And then following that, there will be a salute, a cheers done by Wendy. And that is my dad's closest, bestest friend in the whole world, and she's just so cool. So that is something that will be a great time. And following that, we'll open, we'll have Laura, which is another one of my dad's good friends, and Sherry give a few words as well. And then after, we'll just open the floor up for anyone who wants to come and share some stories, some memories, some good times about my dad, because he was just a big goofball. And we all had great times with him. So Lucy, Lily, Logan, do any of you guys want to go first? You want me to go first? Okay, I'll go first then. Let me just pull it up. Okay, I wrote a metonymy for my dad, and it's called Dick. Okay. We gather here today to celebrate the life of a truly extraordinary man, my father Jay. He had a unique perspective on life, one that has forever changed the way I see the world. He was a man who loved with all of his heart, with all of his might, his children, his friends, and dicks. Growing up, my dad always told me that nobody wants to be a dick. The term dick has long been associated with someone who's unpleasant, rude, and just plain difficult. But now, reflecting on our beautiful time together, I realize my dad was nothing but a dick. Let me explain. He taught me to be headstrong and to stand up tall and to get hard and play hard. And when necessary, to be soft too. On days when I'm feeling a little blue in the balls, he'd remind me to change my blood flow and go work out, go to the gym, change my biochemistry. And just when I felt like my whole world was about to cave in, it all made sense. Being a dick wasn't about being a jerk. It was about dreaming big, continuously learning, and unapologetically dancing in his blue velvet Doc Martens along the way. So if being a dick means living authentically and chasing your dreams, then we should all aspire to be the biggest dicks we can be. Today, as we remember my father, let's redefine what it means to be a dick. Let's honor his legacy by embracing this new philosophy. Dreams inspire constant knowledge. Let's dream big and pursue those dreams relentlessly. Let's never stop learning, growing, and dancing with those around us. He embodied the true spirit of what it means to be a dick in the most positive way imaginable. He had this incredible ability to be both fierce and tender, and a balance that made him truly unique. Dad, you were a shining example of how to live life fully, presently, and authentically. You taught us that being a dick is a badge of honor, a symbol of resilience, intelligence, and heart. So let's raise our glasses to my dad, the greatest dick we ever known, and may we all strive to be the biggest dicks in the best way possible. Dreamers, learners, and most importantly, dancers. Here's to you, Dad. Thank you for everything, you beautiful dancing dick. Mwah. Okay, wow. That's kind of hard to
beat, but I didn't write a speech, I didn't write a poem. I kind of like stared at my phone and didn't really know what to say. So I'm just gonna share like a few like memories that really just like, I don't know, I just love my dad.
Woo, you got it.
All right, so the first memory that I'm gonna share is like, of course, many of you know, he would take me to all my cheer competitions, and he was always like the biggest supporter. He got even like a cheer shirt and was like, my favorite cheerleader calls me dad, and it like had my name on it and stuff. And there was this one time when I was like 13, and I was at NCA, which is just a big cheer competition, and I fell in one of my tumbling passes day one of the competition, and I just walked off the floor and I was just crying. And my dad like hugged me, and he was like, if you don't fall, like, how are you supposed to like learn? He was like, if you never fail, how are you supposed to grow? And so he was like, just trust yourself. He was like, go out tomorrow and just believe in yourself. And I feel like I've just taken that with me through cheer, just like believe in myself and like my teammates. And so I go on day 2 and I landed it, and he was cheering so loud. Like, there's this video, and he was just like screaming. He was like, yeah, fuck yeah. So that just like, it warms my heart so much that he was my biggest supporter in cheerleading. And damn. And there was also this one time I tried out for this just team that's won worlds a lot. That's why I moved out to California. But I was so nervous. I was like, Dad, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. And I sent him the picture of me like saying like, congratulations, you made Fearless. And he was like, fuck yeah, like I knew you were gonna do it, like good job. And just like, he was like, I'm so excited to take you to Worlds. And like, I don't know. Sorry. Yeah, so he always is just like super supportive with cheer. Another thing is, since I moved out to California, like, he would text me every single day, even if it was like his Bitmoji stuff that he would send, like love you beautiful, or just like, he never forgot to text me like every single day. And he would send me gas money every week, even if like he went without, and he never complained. He was always just like so happy, and like, I don't know, even in all his pictures, like he's just smiling so big. And that's just awesome. And he would always listen to me cry. Literally, I think I called him twice a week, every single day, just complaining like, oh my gosh, like she bothers me, or like just little stuff like that, or like boy problems. And he would just always just make me feel better about stuff, and he would really calm me down. Another thing is, he was always like, his house was so peaceful. Like, I feel like I've moved around a lot in my life, and I feel like his house was always just there for me to go to. And he was like, you're always welcome, like your friend, like he even made my friends like so welcome. Like, he loved my friends like they were their own. And like, my friends would come over, like for Avery, for instance, like she would always come over and he'd be like, Avery, how are you doing? And like give her a big hug, and just like, he was just always so welcoming to everyone. And so that just makes me so happy that there's so many of you that just love him. So sorry. Honestly, that's basically about it, but I don't really know what else to say. Yeah, so how do I end this?
Amen.
Amen, brother.
Hello. So, I wrote a bunch of stuff down on a paper, and then like I totally forgot it at home, and then I didn't get to finish on my laptop. So it's whatever. I'm just gonna, come up here and just say thank you guys for all being here, and I have a lot of words and a lot of emotions, and I don't know how to like express them, but I just loved my dad a lot. And I was crying watching my sisters. I apologize. This is a very vulnerable moment for me.
It's okay, brother. You can show emotion.
I just saw how great he was, and how much he loved, and how much he smiled, and how much he tried to nurture everyone and nurture me. And I just love him. I love you, Dad.
Oh, it's really bright. Can't see. So I did write a bunch of stuff. Okay, I wrote a little poem, and then I'm gonna share a few memories also. Okay. He never looked for praises. He was never one to boast. He just went on quietly working for the ones he loved the most. His dreams were seldom spoken, his words were very few, and most of the time his worries went unspoken too. He was there, a firm foundation. Wow, that's awesome.
Can you see?
No, perfect. Oh,
You have enough shade?
that's
Okay,
good.
okay.
Yeah, no, thanks. He was there, a firm foundation through all of my storms in life, a sturdy hand to hold on to in times of stress and strife. A true friend I could turn to when times were good or bad. One of my greatest blessings, the man I call Dad. Okay, now, that was my poem. Now I have memories, okay? First of all, I feel like anyone can be a father, but it really takes someone truly special to be a dad. There's never a day where I don't think about him. We have a lot of memories, and he's taught me so much. Okay, there was this one time he was taking me and Lily back to my mom's house, and he missed the exit on the freeway, and he literally just went through the ditch and the rocks, jumped to the curb in his Suburban, and me and Lily were laughing really hard, and yeah, that was definitely gold. He would show up to my softball games in a shirt that said softball dad, in like, yeah, and then he had my name on the back and my number, and I thought it was so embarrassing, but like everyone loved it, and I was like, okay, I guess he's kind of cool. I always worked by his side since I was little. We were always outside camping or on the water, always by the water. We rented jet skis at Lake Powell one year, like a couple years ago, and okay, we all got on the back, and he was like trying to like do circles and like buck us off of it, and he was going like 45 miles an hour on water. Okay, and he literally gave me whiplash. So that was also a moment. Let's see. Oh, okay. Okay. Pause. There was a time when I was little. I barely remember, but I do remember. We were fishing. It was my first time fishing, and I caught a fish. It was like this big, okay? Tiny, like 3 inches, okay? And I was so scared to hold it. And he just kept reassuring me and would like showing me how to hold it. I was so scared of it. I was like,
smack the head on the rock.
no, he didn't make me do that. But I was so scared of it. And he just kept reassuring me. He's like, it's okay, like it's not gonna hurt you, like it's really a fish. And he was so patient with me, and that was one of the lessons that he taught me. Because in that moment, I knew that that's how I wanted to be. I wanted to be patient. So yeah, thanks for that. Okay, one more. Me and him were riding four-wheelers when there was still snow in the mountains. Just me and him, because I really wanted to go four-wheeling. And there was a gate that closed off the road because there was snow on it, and like we could have literally fallen off the mountain. But he tried to go around the gate. He tried to go around it, like, and there was like, it was like, okay, yeah, we flipped the four-wheeler. It literally fell on me. But yeah, in that moment I learned that me and my dad are more alike than I thought, because I was thinking about doing the same thing. Yeah, it was like, let's do it. Let's drift off the mountain. No. He could fix anything. Anything was fixable, and I really looked up to that. Like I said, I've always worked by his side, whether it was remodeling the house, changing my oil on my tires, digging holes with tractors in the backyard, fixing four-wheelers, the list goes on. Dad, your love, your patience, your understanding, your wisdom, and your sense of humor will live on forever inside of me. You have given me life skills and forever love that are more precious than anything in this world. The lessons you taught me still guide me and will be valuable as I enter adulthood. Your absence is deeply felt, but your love continues to dance in the emptiness of my heart. You told me once that since I am about to turn 18, to spread my wings and to fly. But the truth is, I need your help. I know that you are up there making opportunities for me to fly, running around in circles, making miracles happen. Every day has been hard without you, but on this day especially, I can't help but think how much I wish you were here. Thank you for your guidance and your unwavering love. I don't know how to say goodbye and don't know if I ever will, but with the knowledge, understanding, and certainty of your love, it might make it easier. One last thing I want you to know, Dad, is that there is absolutely no expiration date on my love for you. It will last through this life, the next, and every single one after. Your guiding hand on my shoulder will remain on me forever. You taught me that even our most profound losses are survivable, and that it's what we do with that loss and our ability to transform them into a positive event. That was your greatest lesson to me, and I will use that now as I have had a profound loss. You. I will continue to make you proud. I love you so much, Dad, more than I let you know. I know you're making a garden where your flowers can truly bloom and you can walk in it forever. You will always have a seed planted in my heart that will continue to grow and one day reunite. Rest in paradise. Dance for me. I love you.
Yeah, well, you get to hear from me twice because the toast comes at the end. Sorry, Abs, I didn't tell you right. You're okay. So I don't like to read when I get up to talk to people, but I think I might have to so I stay on track. This still doesn't seem real, and I think there's so much to say, but then I think there are no words to convey or to express. And then I think of a whole bunch of words, and I could be up here for hours, but I'm going to try to do this in, 6 or 7 minutes. So, Jay and I met in 2015 at Bombay House in Provo. We were having dinner with Laura, of course. Laura has introduced us to so many of the amazing people in our lives. And Jay and I talked often about the instant connection that we had. a soul connection, we called it. And we met many times over the years. Initially, not as many. Initially, we would go to like parties and we'd see each other, and so not as much. But the thing that I knew immediately from him is there was a little bit of an edge to him, a little bit of some sharp corners, if you will, and a little bit of blustering. But I knew almost immediately that that was just hiding and protecting a really beautiful, tender heart. And I think all of us have seen, all of us know that. And over the last several years, we've seen that just grow and some of that blustering fall away, which is really beautiful. A couple of just funny stories. I don't have too many because my relationship with Jay wasn't just about being funny. I would rather be funny. It's an easier emotion than what I'm feeling right now, but I want to be very intentional, and because I think that's what Jay deserves from me. So we have friends that do the Gays of 47 parade every year at their house. And they actually have a parade. It's a little parade. And Jay and I got to attend 2 of those together. And one year, I don't know what the theme was, but we were all wearing Lyle's postal uniforms in the parade. Then afterwards, we went over to Jay's house and he had a hot tub. He's like, well, we can just all get in the hot tub. We're like, we don't have suits. He's like, well, we don't need suits. And I'm like, well, I need a suit. And Sherry needed a suit. So we all just wore Lyle's postal outfits in the hot tub. We then started a yearly camping tradition, and like what Lucy was saying, that's when I realized he could fix anything. He could park a trailer anywhere. My trailer hitch wasn't working right, so he just parked my trailer on a rock for the weekend, and then when it was time to go, he figured it out, and we ended up getting out just fine. In 2020, he built this beautiful gathering space in his backyard where he would invite close friends to connect, visit, hot tub, and of course to dance. It was beautiful and welcoming, and we made so many wonderful memories there. It's like to me it was almost magical. The minute you walked through the gate, there was the smells, the sounds, the way he made everything look. It was really peaceful and magical. It was also in 2020 that Jay and I began to embark on our own journey of self-discovery. We would talk for hours about what we were learning and how we wanted to show up differently in the world. We were more focused on becoming the best versions of ourselves, and though that meant different things for each of us, the common themes were kindness and love. I watched him over the next few years as he came into his own. His sharp edges softened, he lost much of the bluster. He started to become his true self. He led with love and just wanted to make the world a more beautiful place. I will miss him stopping by with cookies or Slurpees from 7-Eleven. The first morning we lived in our house, we moved 7 minutes from his house. It was like being little kids, having your best friends live right next door. And he stopped by. We heard a knock on the door the first morning we were in our new house, and went and opened it. It was Jay, and he was all muddy. He said, "Oh, I ran over here. I ran over the river and through the woods." He just crossed Van Winkle and ran across the creek, and I don't know where he went, but that was the beginning of lots of breakfasts and early morning visits. We had a blast setting up our dance space in our basement. I wasn't afraid to buy an older home because I had a friend who knew how to do everything, and I knew he'd be happy to help me. And we set the dance space up. It was amazing, and we had all these ideas for upgrading and, of course, future gatherings. One of the things I'll miss the most, this makes me cry the hardest, yes, Sherry's explained this a couple of times. Jay loved to listen to loud music. It wasn't a party unless the music was blowing everybody's ears out. And so whether it was at his house or my house or anybody else's house, I was sensitive to the neighbors. So I'd say sound check, and I'd go out and check the perimeter and stuff. And sometimes I wanted to do that on my own. I just needed to get out of the noise. But if I wanted Jay to come with me, I just had to say it loud enough so he could hear. And Sherry said that he was so cute because as soon as he would hear sound check, it didn't matter what he was doing. He was marching out with me. We were going to do a sound check. So we'd walk around the perimeter and make sure it wasn't too loud for neighbors. And then we'd just stay out there for a little bit and enjoy the quiet and sometimes talk about deep, important things, and sometimes we'd just be silly, like little kids, and laugh and giggle that we were out like sneaking around, making sure the noise wasn't too loud. And I think that's one of the things I'll miss the most about him is just how he made me feel. And I know all of you here will understand what that means. I could be carefree with him. I could be myself with him. I kind of joked that I let Jay be Jay, he let Wendy be Wendy, and it made for a really beautiful friendship. Because sometimes he could really annoy me, but I just got to a place where I was like, just let Jay be Jay. He was notoriously, horribly, almost talentedly late. And, it just got to a place where I was like, you know what, he'll show up and it'll be worth the wait. And it always was. So, I'm almost down here. During our friendship, our 8 years or so of friendship, I learned a lot about what Jay went through as a kid and as an adult. We had some struggles, and I've come to know more since he's passed away. He carried a lot of pain and shame, and I don't think a lot of people knew that, because to the kid's point, he was always happy and smiley. My word, it's fine. Sorry, guys. I've also heard during this time, even before he died, but in the last couple of weeks, I've heard stories from people who didn't know Jay very well, people he'd just met, and they talked about how he made them feel, how he could feel their love and their acceptance, and they were looking forward to becoming even better friends with him. And just in a few hours, they just really felt close to him. And, I was talking to a friend yesterday, and he pointed something really beautiful out, and he said, Jay could have taken all, the guilt, that shame and that sadness, that guilt, all the things that he carried and struggled with, and he could have turned it into meanness and hate and darkness. And you know what? Occasionally he did that, but don't we all? He wasn't perfect, and he knew he wasn't perfect. But mostly what he did with that, I'm going to read this because I'm going to butcher it if I don't. What he did do, especially in the last years of his life, was become a person who could hold space for people. He created a beautiful and loving space within himself and in his home where people could come and just be themselves and to find safety in being authentic. He gave so much for the people he loved and for the strangers he would come to love. A couple of days after he died, I texted a friend and told her I was really struggling. And she replied with this text. And I think it says it better than I could say it, so I'm just going to read it. She says, "The thing that I have to believe is that he has been released from this physical reality, the stress, pain, worries, and in one moment, a quick breath of relief, he has returned to become one with his inner source. He is now a distinct, brilliant source of love, understanding, and knowledge of what he truly was, is, and always will be. And he truly knows it now. It'll be amazing to feel him throughout the years. He'll be with us as we grow old, just in his most amazing, sparkly self with no restraints." For those of you who don't know me, I'm afraid of ghosts, and I've never been open really to spirits. And my sister, who is open to those things, just told me once, she said, if you're not open to it, just say you're not open. So there are many times in my life when I've gone around and I've been like, hey, I'm not open. I'm not open. But you know what? For Jay, if you're around, if you're in the neighborhood, pop in. I'll be open for you. I can't even say how much I loved him and how much he meant to me. I know the people who know me know that. And I want to say something to his kids. Being a dad was the most important thing he did. And he said that often. He said, that's the best thing I've ever done. He was so intentional about how much he loved all of you. And he knew things about each one of you, personal things. He knew who you were. He knew what you were about. He worried for specific things that he knew you would struggle with in your life. And he wanted to take that away, but he knew he couldn't. He knew some of it he was just going to have to stand by and watch and wait so you could learn. But he wanted to create a space where you could always come home to. So never, ever doubt. My mom died when I was 15. And I'm okay today because I never forgot how much she loved me and cherished me. And your dad loves you and he cherishes you. and he holds you close. So don't ever forget that. You know, I don't even like kids that much, and he brought you all around and was saying you're so great, and you just happened to be. But we talked a lot about his kids and how proud he was of you. So all right. Thank you for listening, and I love you, Jay. And I'll be back later for the toast. We're going to have Laura and then Sherry and Lyle, right? And then after that, it's just a free-for-all.
You want
Oh, I didn't know. I just thought.
I was way back. Okay, go Laura. Go Laura.
Sorry to delay. I just want everybody to know that I was the first bestie. While Wendy may be the more endearing bestie, I was the first. And I'll tell you why. You know, that man Jay, newly gay, out of the closet, his children were in Utah, and he had to return to Utah, of a place that I think was very difficult for him to manage in. For his children, he moved back to Utah to be near them and to do what he could for them. And what that meant was, and there are a lot of people in the audience here who were with me for this, is that he joined a company called Royal Bank of Scotland, and all of us were hired right about the same time. And so we got to quickly know each other since we sat next to each other, like within a foot of each other, and knew quickly about each other's lives. One of the great things about Jay, the first memory I have of him is him walking and just kind of frazzled, right? He's looking for his desk. He wants to sit down and get to work, and oh my gosh, Jay. And I knew the instant I saw him that I loved him. It wasn't because he was a man, or because he was beautiful, or even that he was particularly polite, which he wasn't. I just adored him, and it was as though maybe my soul connected with his soul, and that was all there was. I didn't care if he didn't like me at the time. It took a while. I had to grow on him like mold. But over the years, and getting to meet his family, and of course introducing more family through me, which now I can't take any credit for other than the initial introduction. Everybody took that right over after that. What a pleasure it is to stand here and say, I'll see you later, Jay, and just loved him. And thanks all of you for being here.
I'm Sherry. I'm one of Jay's many friends. And I hope I get through this, because I really want to let people know what a great friend Jay was. And you know, people have mentioned it. The first time I really realized how creative and how Jay could do anything was on a camping trip, because I like to camp with all the hookups, a cement pad, in an established place. He's like, no, we're going up in the Uintas and we're going to go as far away from anybody as we can get. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And I mean, we're on a dirt road for a while, and then we're like four-wheeling over who knows what, and then he goes, this is a good spot. And I'm looking, there's rocks, there's hills. I'm like, this is not a good spot. Okay. And he got our trailer down there, and that's when Wendy mentioned he put it on used a rock to make it stable. But then he started building a fire pit, he started chopping wood, and we had a great weekend, and we were safe and comfortable the whole weekend, and we're out in the middle of nowhere. And that's the first time I was like, wow. And then there was not too long ago, we were all at starvation, and we were all floating on the lake, and if you've been there, it's very windy, and it kept throwing us into the shore. And so what happens? Next thing I know, Jay's on his paddleboard coming out with this big rock. He somehow anchors it, throws it into the water, and then proceeds to tie us all together. And we never moved again. We stayed out on that water. And this was Jay. I always knew that there was a solution. He would do something. He would be able to figure it out, and I felt safe with him. And that's one of, I never had a friend like him. And he was always such a gentleman to me. And he just, he carried things for me, he lifted things for me, even if I didn't need him to. But he was just always so polite and so helpful. And one of the best things was his love of color and lights and bling. And he made the very best playlist you've ever heard. They were awesome. And Wendy and I would be driving down the road somewhere, and all of a sudden we'd start getting texts from Jay. Hey, listen to this one, And they were beautiful music. And he created spaces where you felt safe and you felt comfortable and you weren't self-conscious and you could just dance, you could just hug, you could do whatever you want. And it was comfortable. And I love that about him. And I love just the great spaces that he created. And I think about him and his smile. He had the best smile, and he was always smiling. And he had such a soft voice. Half the time I couldn't hear him, but when I could hear him, he had such a smooth, calm, soft voice. And those are the things that I picture. That smile, it's in that picture too, and that smooth voice. And I love Jay, and I am so glad I had a friend like him.
For most of you that don't know me, my name is Lyle. I was fortunate to call Jay a friend. We'd always say, I felt like I had a brother from another mother. And he made me feel that way. Even when I first met him, we didn't do a lot of hanging out together. And the past several years, with what Wendy, Sherry, and Laura have spoke on, is that we got to really develop a beautiful friendship, a friendship I will treasure forever. And I always say, I don't say goodbye to people that I want to see again. And I will never say goodbye to Jay. And I don't know what it's like after this, but I would love for him to greet me when it's my time to pass, and I know that there will be glow sticks, and there will be dancing. Laura Thomas, thank you so much for introducing me to him. I will be forever grateful. Also, I have to thank Barb and Brad for this beautiful space that you have shared. It is an absolute, I've always felt something really special when I'm back here in this backyard. So thank you so much. To his wonderful kids, I'm so very, very sorry. I know how much it stings for me, so I can't even imagine. But I just want you to know, he will never ever leave you. He will be your guardian angel. There's so many other things I want to say. I really am so grateful. And the people that I love, if Jay's taught me anything these past couple weeks, it's that I want to love him a little bit more. I want to hug him a little bit more. Because I don't know it's going to be the last time that I see that person. And Jay, you will always be there. I will keep your spirit alive in all the activities that we do. Thank you for coming into my life, my friend.
Gotta pull this down a little bit. We're gonna open the floor up to anybody else who wants to come and share some memories about my dad. So we'll probably go about 25 minutes or so, but yeah, feel free to come up and share some stories.
My name is Nicholas. I worked with Jay at RBS 15 years ago now? 12 years ago. I'm from the East Coast originally, so I didn't really have many friends over here. But as you guys have noticed, it was his spirit that kind of brought everyone together, which was really nice. And funny enough, I ran into Jay at Harmon's about 2 months ago and got to snap a picture with him, and I sent it to a couple other RBS guys here. It was like, I ran into Jay again. We have to meet up again, have some drinks, go out, do dancing, and unfortunately, life just goes too quickly, and it really shows you how fast it can go away. But his smile is really what resonates with me. I could actually tell you we were in aisle number 7 on the corner next to the meat, exactly where I saw him, and it just brings a happy memory to that, and. For his kids and everyone, he will always be there for you guys. And I'm sure I'll say this for myself and the rest of us, though, if you guys ever need anything, we are also around too. He created these bonds and networks and memories, and this is an opportunity for you guys to use that and know that we're all here to help you guys out. So, thanks.
Sorry, can you hear me? Yeah. I talk loud, so I apologize. It's funny how I met Jay. He kind of sized me up. It was kind of funny. Anyone who knows me knows one thing. I'm from the south side of Chicago. So he was like, Chicago? He's like, crime and this and that. And I was like, yeah, I agree with you. He's like, oh, okay. And that was kind of the end of it. Then, there was no reason to have the conversation more. I was like, yeah, I agree with you. I'm not going to argue with you about it. I was born and raised there. I know what it's like. So anyway, our buddy Greg, who I don't know where he is right now, but there he is. Greg is infectious. All of us are friends partly because of him. So Jay became part of what we were doing, and then I became part of what we were doing. And I would see him socially all the time. And I agree, he always had that great smile on his face. He was always happy. He left me alone about being from Chicago. So, but after that, and we actually had a really good relationship. And I was really, really sad to hear about what happened. I mean, there were several of us. Thank you, Laura, because I got off Facebook. I never would have known, so I'm glad that she let us know, because it's just sad. Like I say, he was a great person. I liked hanging out with him. He was always laughing. He was always having fun. And a lot of times we would meet at Greg's house, or we meet at Josh's house. Josh is in the back too. And we would just have a really good time. So I think he would definitely be missed. I would have loved to be able to do that one more time. I know we're all busy, but we should make time for people, because you never know what's going to happen. So I just want to say to everyone, I can tell by everybody being here, he was a wonderful human being, and we were all blessed to meet him. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Greg. I worked with Jay 2012, 2014. I'll make a Scotland part of, same with Craig and Josh and Nick. Jay was a force of nature, a great guy, and he made you feel proud to be you. I think that's one of the gifts he had. I came out later in life myself. I was raising my 2 kids, and Jay was just, he was always a force of nature to be reckoned with. I think his honesty was so brutal, especially in a place like this, like Utah. I'm from Boston originally, and so seeing him at work at RBS and hanging out with him socially, sometimes meeting his kids, and he talked about his kids, he loved his kids. And I think Jay's honesty and his love for life is the biggest gift I think he gave me personally, because he taught me that, like, you gotta be honest first with yourself, and secondly, be bold, and, to the daughter's wonderful speech, and be a dick if you have to be. He did it so well, all the time. And for that, I'll always be grateful. So thank you so much, and thank you for Laura for letting us know about this event and letting us be a part of it. Thank you.
The first time I met Jay was at a party. It's kind of funny. So we were showing up for a party. Jay came from an Uber. The forecast said it was going to be sunny. Suddenly, he shows up. He's in his shorts and a t-shirt. It starts hailing. And I was like, sorry for doing that. But Jay was wonderful. He'd come to parties. He'd be friends with Lyle. And I just love it when he'd come to parties. Thank you.
Good evening, folks. Oh, I hate the sound of my voice. My name is Brian Mazie, and I consider myself a friend of Jay's. Like a lot of folks there, we were part of the Royal Bank of Scotland group, and when I left there to another employer, I poached Jay to join our team. I was grateful for that. He was just an amazing relationship builder. As Greg had mentioned, he absolutely was brutal with the truth, and he could absolutely make you cry with honesty, but you needed to hear it. What I absolutely miss, once a week, Jay and I would go to lunch, and so at that time, one memory, Lucy, I think you're talking about this Suburban, right? You're talking about the Suburban. I remember when he bought that Suburban, he was so proud of himself. He got it for a steal. I think it was like $1,500. Said it needed some work, but he was willing to do it, and got it. He just couldn't stop talking about that Suburban for a couple of weeks after he got it. He's like, gosh, he's got such a good deal on that truck. But right after that, he I think he was kind of going through his midlife crisis kind of thing, and so he wanted a sports car. So I don't know if you guys remember, he bought a blue Mazda Miata. Do you guys remember that? It was, it had a really bad paint job, it was an NA Miata, and so he wanted to drive it. Jay, he's what, 6'1", 6'2", and then there's me, and so we would sit in this Miata. We wouldn't fit with the top down, so we had to put the top up, the top down, even when it was cold outside, and we had to have the windows down because our shoulders would run into each other, so our arms had to be outside of the car. We looked like two freaking gorillas in this Miata. It was hilarious. We got a lot of looks, and we got some honks too. I absolutely loved my time with Jay, traveling with him and also spending lunches with him. He taught me about, the value of what it is to be a good father, what it is to support your children, the relationships that you have. At that time, I just had the one child. She was She was 2 at the time, and he really taught me how to be some really important lessons, critical lessons to be a good father. I'm just grateful for him. So I love you, Jay, and I miss you.
Round off those of us from RBS, I guess. We're all pretty outspoken. It's going to be a beautiful sunset. I'm grateful to be doing this right now instead of 30 minutes ago, or so thanks to those who are doing that. What to say about Jay? I guess I'll share two short memories I have with him. Just really impressions, because I would say, you know, if 3 months ago you were to tell Jay that this was going to happen, who's going to be at your wake, I don't know that he would have listed me necessarily. I knew him from RBS, so it's 12 years ago or so, and I've seen him maybe once every few years since then. But the impression that he leaves, I don't have to tell anyone here because everybody knows. The two memories that I'll share, the first one might as well have been the first time that I met him. We were at some RBS. I don't remember what we were doing. We had a booth, and it wasn't a job fair because it wasn't that busy. It was just kind of downtime. We're just manning the booth, I guess. And so we just start immediately chatting about what I call ideal world, where you're just talking about the bigger things in life, and we're going into each other's pasts and talking about, you know, what our relationship to this is and that is, and just a lot of vulnerability with this person that I'm just meeting now. And he definitely inspired my orientation around openness these days, and as has been indicated, love and kindness and compassion and connection and all of those kinds of things. And then the last time I saw him was at my house. I don't know, it was probably, so we do jam nights. I'm a musician, and we do jam nights every couple weeks, ideally. And in December, I think, we had a Christmas jam night, and he came over and enjoyed and was evidently to Jay's MO, fashionably late, shall we call it. Missed the electric set, but came in and just tore the piano up. Just an amazing sight reader, and I didn't know, that wasn't the conversation we had 12 years ago, and I'm sad that that's the only musical experience I had with him, because that definitely dog-eared, like, oh my, why do I not know you musically yet? Our souls know each other, as is the case with everyone here, so I'm sad that that won't take place in this lifetime anyway. But yeah, I just want to say thank you to the hosts, and I'm grateful to have known Jay. I'm grateful for the energy that is here, and is just a tribute to his legacy. I think I guess birds of a feather, here we are, and such a beautiful thing and such a legacy that will continue in this world, and a beautiful energy that will continue every time we think about him, every time his name is spoken, every time we remember him. He'll continue through each of our lives, so I'm grateful to that, and I love and miss you very much, Jay. Thanks.
Is there anybody else who wants to come up? And does everybody have something to cheers? We're going to do a cheers. Okay. Also, after the cheers, there is a beautiful cake that even if you don't want to eat it, you should at least look at it. It is sparkly and beautiful, just like Jay. And there's also crumble cookies, because I'm pretty sure when they did the autopsy, they just found he was crumble cookies, or maybe 7-Eleven cookies and energy drinks. I'm pretty sure that at least a third of him was that. So. So this year for my birthday, Jay wrote a poem, and he actually presented and read the poem at the Grand America at high tea, and we were so amazed by it that nobody recorded it. So I hounded him and hounded him and hounded him to please at least send me the poem, and he finally sent it. And he also he videoed himself reading it to me, which I will cherish forever. But I thought the last part of this poem would be perfect for a cheers, and because it's in his own language, in his own words, I think it's even more beautiful. So he says, on all of our journeys as we continue to age, so be it with wheelchairs, dementia, and canes, dancing fiercely until the last one of us remains, and into the beyond, a wonder in what it contains. But with the very essence of my being, I feel this is not the end, and we will be dancing still. Jay, we love you, we miss you, we will carry you with us forever. To Jay.
To Jay. Woo!
Anything else? Any other announcements? Okay, feel free to eat dessert, mingle, and thank you all for coming. And again, shout out to Barb and Brad and all his friends who have helped put this beautiful thing together. Thank you.
Yeah.